2 days, 1 bicycle, and 340 kilometers to the heart of Bohemia. I had marked a collection of places on the map, but beyond that, there was not much of a plan. I would decide where to go and how far along the way. What followed was 2 days of magnificent pastel-colored towns, spectacular castles, quiet countryside, and the first day that became considerably longer than I expected when I discovered there was nowhere to sleep for the next 60 kilometers. This is Bohemia by bicycle. Here in Hluboká starts my South Bohemia adventure. There is a nice castle in the village which is not open yet, so I will do kind of a weird tour coming back here during opening hours on the second day. To start, I'm gonna head east all the way to Telč, and from there we'll decide which way to go. The first kilometers are on rolling hills in this southern Bohemian countryside. Now moving from Lisov to Třeboň, which is famous for some ponds where they have most of the carbs that they like to eat here in the Czech Republic over Christmas. Not especially fancy countryside here. Here is just outside Třeboň, which is famous for these ponds. I don't know if it's possible to see carbs from this angle, but there is a full network that has been in operation for like 500 years. Here's the symbol of the city, what it is famous for. And here in Třeboň there is also a castle, which is this one behind me. I'm not sure if it can be visited. Let's have a look. Here's the pretty courtyard of the Třeboň castle. I'm not sure if you can visit it inside, but also from the outside it's very pretty. And this is the first village of the trip with some Bohemian flair, with all the colorful houses all around town. Here's the pretty central square of the village with the daily market. Nice folkloristic stuff around town, and this is the pond just next to the small village. Now I left Třeboň behind and I threw myself in this network of canals, unpaved roads, ponds and lakes, and then I'm gonna continue east. Ultra pretty roads in the middle of ponds with very few people, a couple of cyclists but no cars. Here's the next pretty village with pastel houses. I came inside here, which I think is a castle. At the ticket office, they told me just to come through. I'm not sure, there was a price. Let's see how far I get. Walking around the castle, I stumbled upon this room that looks like set up to us for a rhyme song. But it is the room, the exhibition made for the father of the Czech Hermetism, a guy called Adolf Herman. There is a guided tour of this castle, but all these people back there are all Czech people. They do not speak any English at all, so I think I'll move to the next highlight. Here I got to Jindřichův Hradec, I pronounced it probably completely wrong way. It is this absolutely beautiful Renaissance town, and the town has a very colorful town center. I'm gonna take the lunch break to walk around a little bit and see what I find. And the city has some absolutely beautiful corners, like this street here with colorful houses, but there are plenty. To the store here in the city center to have some typical Czech. Finish the lunch break and tour here in Jindřichův Hradec, pronounced horribly, I'm sure. I continue toward Telč, but this is really a wonderful town, something to remember. A really cool road in the middle of ponds. Here there is a street just in the middle of the water. We are getting to Telč, and it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site city. And that back there is the old town of Telč, seen from across the pond, which is just south of the city. Wow, I've never seen a square like this in a city like this with these kind of buildings. I read about this incredible square. Basically, a nobleman in the 16th century came back to Italy and rebuilt the whole city in Renaissance style. The buildings behind are older Gothic, but all the facades are from the 16th century. What is especially remarkable is that all these houses changed almost nothing since the 16th century. I came inside this Renaissance castle, which is the residence of the nobleman that brought the Renaissance style to the village. This is the small chapel inside the castle. It is completely adorned with stuccos everywhere. This is the courtyard of the castle, which is also absolutely stunning. This is the tower of the main church. You see the square downstairs and also the castle. I need to get some food on this beautiful square before heading out northwest. Some good crepe with cheese and pesto on top. I spent about 2 hours in this absolute jewel of Telč, and now I'm gonna move on. There are still about 3 hours of sun. It's 5:20, 5:30. There are not too many hotels in the direction where I'm going, so I'm going northwest, and I'm gonna do about 1 hour, then see where I am and decide to stop for the night. 6:30 in the evening. There are still 2 hours of light and a very nice castle behind me, but I don't see any hotel within 60 kilometers from here. Which means, not sure, I'm gonna get wherever I'm gonna get when it is dark. Let's see how far I'm gonna make it. And this is the last village for about 40 kilometers. And here there is no hotel. There is about 1 hour of sun and then darkness. 7:44, and still about 28 kilometers to go. 8:06 and still 20k to go. I think that there are still 20 minutes before sunset. 8:23 and the sun is setting on the horizon. I still have I think 11k to go. As the twilight fades into night, get to the old town of Tábor. Absolutely fantastic. Last 30-40 kilometers magical into the sunset. Here is the central square of Tábor, and now I want to take the best hotel in town, which I think is Nautilus, this one here. Checking down in the Nautilus. But I'm gonna get some food first because if I take a shower and then go out again, I think it's gonna be hard to get up again. The rest are recommended by the guy in the reception. Let's see the Hotel Nautilus. Let's see how the rooms are. Looks fancy, at least here. A bit old-fashioned, but hopefully the bed is comfortable. Kick off the day with a quick walk around Tábor, again one of these Bohemian cities with all the colorful houses, and then I start to get going. It's before 7, so there is still nobody around. Daily ride started, this behind is still Tábor, getting out of town. First village since I left this morning in Tábor. And there is pretty much nothing, I would guess. I want to take a coffee or something. I found a cappuccino and breakfast here for the morning. And now the cycling path goes along the Flava River. The past 40 kilometers since I started this morning were pretty uneventful on rolling hills. Getting closer to the Hluboká castle. I arrived here in Hluboká where there is a castle, a very famous castle, and I stopped to get an ice cream and also asked for a Coke, and they gave me this thing here as an equivalent to Coke, and it's absolutely horrible. I don't know if it is anise inside or something else. Here I'm back in the village where I slept the first night where I left the car. Here in front of me there is the hotel, but I'm not gonna stop here yet. I'm gonna do a loop after I've seen this castle. Here I got to the Hluboká castle, which is this Loire style castle, which I think it was built about 200 years ago. I need to read a bit when I go inside, which I'm gonna do right now. Turns out it's possible to visit the inside, but only with guided tours, only in Czech, because the English one are in 2 hours, the next one, and it lasts 70 minutes. I'm gonna skip it. It looks magnificent from the pictures inside. I'm not gonna go inside, but I read about the castle, which is historically from the family Schwarzenberg, and then I read about this family, which is one of these noble families since the 12th century. They got married into many other noble families, and the amount of wealth that they accumulated through the years is crazy. I looked at the list of castles and properties that they still own today, out of this world. And now I moved to 2 UNESCO recognized sites in rapid succession. And I'm getting to Holašovice, which is a UNESCO recognized place, and there is no sign of anything. No tourist sign, no UNESCO sign at the entrance of the village. A lunch here in the center square of the village, which is really pretty, and there's almost nobody around. I also got a dessert, and then my Maybe they can do a little bit in presentation of the food. The village has a super interesting history. The big square where I'm at right now has been the same since medieval times, and also the buildings have been standing since that time. About 200 years ago, in the beginning of the 19th century, they created this Baroque peasant style that you see in the facades of the buildings, and the buildings stay the same since that time. In between, this village has been German, then more Czech, that was occupied by the Reich, then was completely abandoned, so the Germans who were living here in 1945, they were displaced completely, and the village was abandoned, and basically it is the same since 200 years. Absolutely amazing place, this one here, really an insider tip. I don't see any other tourists, despite being a UNESCO recognized place, which usually guarantees lots of tourists. And now I'm gonna go to another UNESCO recognized place, which is Český Krumlov, that I know there are gonna be many more tourists. And here I reach Český Krumlov, an absolutely astonishing, beautiful town. Here I am at the local point in Český Krumlov. And I came to the city already 4 years ago with my daughter. It was in autumn, I think it was an October weekend, and there was almost nobody. And we also came with a canoe, a bit more upstream compared to here. Behind is the arrival point of the canoes, and you can start basically about 20 kilometers upstream from here. As for the city, it is absolutely magical. It is a bit touristy. It's the only touristy place that I crossed in this weekend. I came in October and there was nobody. Last stop and last highlight of the weekend is České Budějovice. Got to České Budějovice. Here is the city center on the other side of the river. The whole ride was along the river, and there were many points with bars and people swimming. And here's the central square of České Budějovice. Again, a wonderful square with these baroque buildings and all the pastel colors. Goodbye to the last highlight of the weekend. Now it's going to be about 12 kilometers along the river. Back in Hluboká, the car is still here, fortunately. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you next time.